In honor of Bastille Day, our travel expert and novelist Kristen Harmel is here to talk about the pastries of Paris. Welcome, Kristen.
Thanks for having me. One of my favorite subjects.
Oh, obviously. And how did you come about being such an expert on pastries?
Well, as you know, I'm a novelist, and my new book, The Sweetness of Forgetting, is coming out August 7th. It's actually about a woman who owns a bakery in Cape Cod, but she discovers that the history of her family and the history of her bakery are basically buried in the Holocaust in Paris and in the bakeries of Paris.
Okay.
So while researching the novel, gosh, I had the tough task of having to go to Paris and just eat my way through the city.
Such a tough job.
Life, I know.
I'm going to go with you next time. Okay, so do tell. Where do we get started when it comes to pastry exploring?
Something important to understand, which I never really realized the difference before, but in Paris, on the windows of bakeries, you see boulangerie or you see boulangerie-pâtisserie.
Okay.
And I never knew, I thought maybe the words were interchangeable. I learned that a boulangerie actually is just a bakery, so that's the word for bakery. But a patisserie is sort of decreed by the government to just apply to someone or a bakery that is actually owned by a master pastry chef or run by a master pastry chef.
Oh, okay, fantastic.
That's sort of interesting.
Yes, and then so where do we find out, where to go? Ask someone locally, or?
The beautiful thing about Paris is that there is a bakery on almost every corner. Right. I mean, it's just heaven if you loved baked goods. But if you are staying in Paris, ask a friend or ask at your hotel front desk what the best bakery in the neighborhood is. I guarantee there'll be something amazing within a 5-minute walk. So start your day off with a croissant or a baguette. I think those are just two very traditional French things, and they taste so much different there than they do here. I mean, if you think you've had one because you've bought something like that in an American bakery, totally different.
Fantastic. Okay, and there's a couple places that you highly recommend.
Well, I think Paris is a really interesting place in that it's such a cool blend of a Christian culture, a Jewish culture, and a Muslim culture, which I think is just really an interesting aspect overall. But you can actually sort of experience that through some of the bakeries of Paris. There's a wonderful bakery in the Marais district on the Rue de Rosier called, and forgive me for butchering the pronunciation here, but I think it's Sasha Finkelstein.
Okay.
It is the most famous Jewish bakery in Paris. It's got a beautiful yellow exterior, you can't miss it. You can sample some of the wonderful pastries there, which kind of come from an Eastern European background. There's sort of all around different influences. But you can have some of the pastries there and then walk across a bridge to the other side of the river and visit the Grand Mosque of Paris, which is, of course, the Muslim center of Paris and basically of all of France. And they have some amazing pastries at the bakery there. It's wonderful.
Oh, thanks so much for sharing this with us today. In fact, I'm going to have pastries for lunch.
Me too. I will join
ready
you.
to go.
Sounds delicious.
That's right. All of these links for all of these links, visit lifeloveshopping.com and check out Kristen's new novel, The Sweetness of Forgetting, coming August 7th.